And we're joined by Greg and Adam of the Fallen State. How are you guys keeping?
Really good, thanks, mate.
Yeah, well, good, thank you.
Yeah, glad to hear it. So obviously, it'll be a couple of weeks from now when we air this. But obviously, last week you guys announced that Ben was leaving the band onto Ventures New, and then obviously Friday you announced Adam joining the band. I was aware, obviously, of Adam from The Addiction. Was a big fan of The Addiction, so I knew Adam had the pipes for that. But how did you guys team up as such?
Well, funny enough, Adam's old band supported us in Doncaster about, what was it, 3 years ago now? Nearly 3 years
2018 it was, March, yeah.
And I remember him because they played a Kiss cover. I remember texting my missus, like watching it going, the band's playing a Kiss cover. Can't remember, was it Love Gun?
Love Gun, yeah.
Because my missus is a massive Kiss fan. So yeah, saw Adam then and I think must have ended up friends on Facebook and then
yeah, I think it's kind of started stalking you a little bit, I think, for a
while. following his stuff for a while, and yeah, when we were looking for someone, he was definitely, someone I wanted to check out and see if he might be interested in potentially being the singer. So yeah, it worked out.
That's cool. So there's quite a distance between the two of you guys. Is that, well, between the band and yourself, Adam? Is that affected being able to, get ideas together and stuff? I guess these days it doesn't really affect it too much, does it?
No, that's the thing. You do a lot of these things online and over Messenger, and then we record ideas and demo ideas, and send them back and forth. So the only thing we're traveling for is for for rehearsals or laying down some solid demos and that sort of thing. We can do a lot in a short time when we get together because we can do a lot of the prep work separately. And even in my old bands, I didn't see a lot of them all the time because you can do things separately anyway, even though we live a lot closer together than what I do from the rest of the band here. But yeah, it's fairly straightforward. It's never really been an issue at all. We've not even thought about it being a big deal, really. So,
have you guys actually managed to get together and jam physically yet, or is that still being off the cards with everything that's gone on this year or last year or so?
Yeah, you've been down a few times, haven't you, mate?
Yeah, nipped down a few times. Yeah.
When you first joined, I said to him, "Yeah, it's quite a distance. Are you all right about coming down?" And he's like, "Yeah, it's not 3 hours." And I was like, "Man, I don't think you realise." So anyway, you carried on because we were originally in lockdown, and we did quite a lot of we sent quite a lot of vocals across, just to get feelers out about it before we came down for an audition. And when we finally said, "Right, you're coming down," he still insisted it was going to take 3 hours. How long did it take?
No, I think I might have guessed at 4. I still haven't got to 4 hours yet, but yeah, I think it was about 4 hours. I thought I did have one trip back once, and it took about I think it was 8.5 hours because there was a closure on the M5 just as you come from the North Devon Lake Road onto the M5 27. There'd been some kind of accident, and it took me 9 hours nearly to get home. So that was good fun. Yeah, enjoyed that.
Final day you came down the first time, and it took you 9 hours that time.
Oh yeah, because like the first time ever, I blew it. The tire blown up on me on the M5. I got a lot of luck with that place. Yeah, but my rear tire decided it was didn't want to be a tire anymore and explode. So I had to wait 3 hours in a services for an AA guy to bring me a new tire out. That was good fun.
That's always fun doing that, isn't it?
That's what I drank all the cup final beer I got in before we got there.
Oh yeah, I just missed the cup final as well. Yeah, I planned to come down and have some beers and watch the cup final.
You missed it.
Missed it. Didn't see any of it.
That was extra time as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Along with the announcement, you guys obviously released Knives on Friday, which we blasted out on the show. Storming track, guys. Absolutely loving that. Really fresh. Is that sort of a sign of the things to come from you guys? You think it's going to go more down that route, or are you still going to have your light and shade that you had previously in the project as well?
I think moving forward, it was we're still the Fallen State, so we're still going to do what we do,
Yeah, of course.
We're all influenced by so many different things. That's how we probably end up with our sounds, because we've all got different influences that kind of meet in the middle. Adam brings a new dynamic, which is cool. He's one thing we wanted was that the new singer would do the old songs justice, but also give us, we'll be able to emphasize the new things, the new inspirations we've got for new tunes. Because everything we do is different. We move it on every time.
Yeah, of course.
Knives, is just the next thing. I think if Ben had been in the band, we still would have written Knives anyway. We've got to come in. We've got, we've actually recorded a few songs already, and there was light and heavy, and in fact, there's one of the songs is probably the heaviest thing we've ever done. And the weirdest thing about that track is it's got a really catchy chorus, almost a pop chorus on it. So yeah, you're going to get heavy, light, whatever comes to us. I mean, we like to try and push it. We haven't ever really stuck to the same formula.
No, you've always gone where the song went, and to me, that's what a good band does. Whether it's a light song, a ballady type song, a blues song, heavy song, whatever it is, it should always sound like the band. And to me, that's what you guys have always done, no matter what the song was. It's always sounded like Fallen State.
Well, I'm an absolute sucker for a ballad.
Nothing wrong with, you're talking to a man with an Aerosmith tattoo, mate. There is nothing wrong with a power ballad.
But you got, we also love our heavy stuff. So it is a case of, you'll hear something, you think it's cool, you get inspired by other things around you, and yeah, it's just about using what we have to the best advantage. And like I said, Adam brings a new dynamic and
of course
another set of influences, and it's just what it is going forward, really. So yeah, maybe more of the same, but some different things we're going to throw in there as well. Hopefully everyone likes it.
Well, we got I got several. You dropped it on Friday, and I had the email come through saying this is what's going to happen with Fallen State. Would you? Yeah, and that's obviously when I started speaking to yourself, Greg, about sorting this interview out. And yeah, we dropped it into the show on Friday, and we had loads of messages from people saying how much they were enjoying the track. So I don't think you've got any worries there, mate, at all.
Awesome. That's the worrying thing about when you put new stuff out. When someone leaves, it doesn't matter whether it's your singer, your drummer, anyone. You put new music out, and you just go in, please, let's hope people still want to carry on following us. I mean, I don't know how much people know about what happened, but Ben, when Ben left, it's just purely because he doesn't really want to do music anymore. So, we want to carry on. And, it's a case of, look, the Fallen State can't continue with Ben because he doesn't want to do it anymore. So, this is what it's going to be. We hope that people want to stay with us.
No, of course. I mean, like you say, it's a weird one, isn't it? Because no matter what band it is, and like you said, it doesn't matter what member it is, whether it's drummer, bass player, singer, guitarist, whoever, you're going to change the chemistry, you're going to change the dynamic. That's just the way it is. You get 5 people together, they've got one set of chemistry and way they work and what works for each other. And then when someone replaces an element of that, it is going to change slightly, but that's just part and parcel. You can't help that. That's development, it's progression, it's just the way it goes. And as you say, I saw Ben's statement, and it just seemed like he just he'd done what he wanted to do with music, and he just wanted to go do something else. And that happens, and that doesn't mean you guys should be able to continue the journey as Fallen State now that Adam's coming into the play, and like you say, on the a new chapter and everything, which is just exciting to hear, really.
Thank you. Yeah, it is difficult because replacing a singer, you're replacing something relatively unique about the band. But again, with Adam, and we spoke about this, didn't we? Wanting to make sure that he could sing the old songs, do them justice, because people want to hear them. I mean, I said to someone else the other day, I kind of see it a little bit more like how a football club celebrates its history of the players. We don't want to be like, oh, Ben's gone, who's Ben? It's more like, right, okay, Ben's moved on, now this is the new guy who's going to take that. And the Fallen State is from its very beginning to the end, so we don't stop playing the songs. We don't, we just keep moving forward and keep looking back to our history and that, and saying, if that's what the songs people want to hear, we'll play it. And Adam luckily can sing all the songs, can't he?
That's why
I kind of. No, sorry, no.
That's where you're supposed to say, yes, I'm as good as anyone else. Or better.
Yeah. No, I think it's one of those things. I think it's just like, it's just like a passing of a torch sort of thing, rather than saying, like Greg touched on, rather than forgetting somebody and whatever. It's just a case of I'm not in to replace Ben sort of thing. I'm there to just carry on and where he left off sort of thing. And I don't think he should be, forgotten for anything he's done, because he's helped get the band to where it is now. So yeah, it's one of those. So
like you say, it's all part of the lineage, all part of the story of the Fallen State.
Exactly. Yeah.
just you know, like you said, a different chapter, and it doesn't mean anything that happened prior was any less important that's happening now. It's all part of the same story.
That's it. Yeah, it's the same. It's the same race to get to the end goal, sort of thing. So
yeah, definitely.
We were actually going to go to the pub and do the announcement from the pub all together.
Oh, yeah.
Just to show that there isn't any hard feelings, because you know you get these things sometimes when you read something and you go, did that really happen? Is that just for, you know, the saving face? But generally with Ben, it's just like he still is our, you know,
Yeah, still your mate.
Our best mates. We've been through so many things together. You know, he just made this really big decision that he doesn't want to do it, and you know that would have been really hard for him, because you know the amount of effort and things Ben's had to sacrifice for this man.
Yeah, I mean, all the work he's put in the last 7 years he was in the band, and that doesn't just go away because he's decided he wants to, you know, do something different, like you say. So
exactly. I mean, there's a lot of people asking if he's going to go and do something else now. You know, I've spoke to him and he just doesn't want to do music. I mean, he might end up doing something else, but that's cool. We'll support him. You know, that's what he wants to do. That's fine. You know, he just really isn't the kind of person to do something that, you know, a bit sneaky or anything like that. He just, you know, he straight up. One of the first thing he said to us is, "Lads, you've got to continue if you want to carry on doing it," and we did. So, you know, fortunately, we had time to find Adam. That's the one advantage of this. Yeah,
the one advantage of lockdown, I guess you guys have. I mean, it's been a difficult, you know, 12 months, 18 months of being a band generally, let alone so you're trying to find a new member and trying to, you know, reconnect all those relationships and the chemistry and the writing side of things and all that kind of thing. But I guess lockdown has allowed you guys the time and space to do that.
I must have literally listened to every single singer in the country.
Yeah.
I honestly, there was a point when I was like, I don't think there's anyone left. Like, who are we going to listen to? And, you know, we don't really want to break up bands or anything like that. That's not what we're doing. I mean, I mean, with the addiction, I think, you know, you kind of felt like it ran its course anyway, didn't you? So, you know, it was kind of like a mutual kind of like thing for him to leave and to come to us, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. I think it was a case of with any band or project, it's a matter of getting people together that are like really committed to the cause. And you know, we had a little bit of that and member changing and again, and we've not been together that long, only about a year or so. And you know, things kept changing with members, and then obviously COVID come about, and it was kind of like the day before Greg rang me, we actually lost our bass player that day. So it's like, do you know what? It just so it was like if I needed any push to go over to do something else, I think that might have been it. But yeah, it seems to be something with bass players, isn't it, Greg? So.
I play the 4 strings as well. There's always something up with a bass player.
Yeah, I've literally just added an extra string now, so I'm like a 5-string bass player. So I'm just like a complete weirdo.
You're even worse, Greg. What are you doing?
I didn't know what to do with the extra string for that long. I mean, like, what am I supposed to do with it?
But that's just for decoration, isn't it? The other one. Just look at it.
I had no idea, but apparently it makes really low notes. And yeah, I've tried it a couple of times. It was good. Glad to meet a fellow bass player.
Always good, mate. Always good. So going back to the track Knives, did you want to tell all our listeners like sort of story behind it lyrically, or is there a message to give out on that, or is it just a killer rock track?
I'll leave that one to Adam, I think.
Well, I think the idea came. I remember the idea came about is we was just in some kind of writing frenzy, and it started out with Greg just jamming like "Bring out the knives" and this, and it went into this crazy thing, and it got edited, and it sounded absolutely mental, and it sounds nothing like what we ended up doing, but it gave us that inspiration for it. But I think it's kind of a track that says, you know. I think it's just one against, you know, anything bad that's going on, any adversity. It's just a case of, you know, bring it on, like, you know, come at us and we're going to take it on the chin. And I think that kind of represents how we're all feeling as well about, you know, the business and bands at the minute. So I think it's, yeah, I think it's just a sort of a middle finger and saying, you know, bring it on sort of thing.
No, it's definitely got, you know, an angst and an aggression to it lyrically. It was, as soon as I put that on, I was like, that's going in the show. Because I'm going to put this nicely. If anyone's good enough to send me a song, I'm always good enough to listen to it. Some stuff isn't my cup of tea, and it doesn't go in the show because, and it's not being harsh, I wouldn't like try and block anyone. Some stuff isn't my cup of tea, but it's that good. Or not my cup of tea stereotypically, but it's that good, it still goes in the show because I go, well, these guys have got something, even if it's not my thing. But I can't, with my show, I can't put music on that doesn't excite me, if you know what I mean, because it just feels false. And so I'll always check that track. But when it got sent over, obviously I was a fan of Fallen State anyway, and I was a fan of you and the Addiction album, so I knew it was going to be one for me. But man, that talk about a punch in the face when that riff tears in, that's brilliant. I loved it.
That's great. Yeah, I mean, I know what you mean about the you know, at the end of the day, it's your show. You're going to play the stuff that you enjoy as well. You know, that's why you do it, isn't it? And I think that's the same as being in a band. You know, we listen to heavy music right now. Dan's especially sending us like heavy stuff all the time, going, "Dude, you check this out."
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just kind of, I think, you know, I think me and Adam and Dan started sort of writing random stuff at my place, didn't we? And then John got hold of it and put this amazing riff to it, and you just were like, wow, this is pretty cool, this is definitely it. And just developed from there. And yeah, it's kind of, you know, it's definitely a good one to start with, a nice aggressive, like big, like, you know, come at us, you know, here we're back kind of thing. It's been a long time since we put music out. It's been what, nearly 2 years since we put it out, so you know, it takes its time, but you know, there's like I said, there's lots to come. It's not always going to be heavy in your face.
No.
You know, the next single could be completely the other way. We've got quite an option of what we've recorded already. We're going to record 5 more songs in May for an album that'll come out at the end of the year. So yeah.
So there's any plans to release any of the singles ahead of the album, or is no sort of a taster until the album then would be released?
The idea is, lockdown depending, is we're actually going to put out a lot more before we put the album out this time.
Cool.
It won't just be like, here's one single, here's the album. I think we're going to keep it coming.
Yeah.
We wanted to do that originally anyway. We did that with the EPs. We kept on bringing them out sort of every 6 months, maybe a year. So kept on giving people music, and I think people like that. They want to keep hearing stuff from you. I mean, you know, there is the old like, oh, it's great to just listen to a whole body of work at once, but it will come out eventually. So, you know, if we can put out another, you know, a song every couple of months for the next few months, that'd be great. But we like to do like a video and a visual with anything we put out. And I don't know, obviously, lockdown, we can't, you know, we're not.
Yeah, of course, that would be tricky doing the videos and all that with the way lockdown is, but.
Exactly. We've got 5 songs we can put out. Well, another 4 songs we can put out now, but you know, we'd like to do it properly, and you know, we'll bring them out. And if everyone sort of stays tuned, we'll surprise on people, and one day they'll wake up and there'll be a new tune there, I think. And
so when you recorded those, did you manage to do it all in the studio at the same time, or because of lockdown did you have to do the, you know, doing it from home studios or whatever and sending it back and forth? Or? So
we were really lucky. We actually managed to do it literally the week before the original tier system came in.
Right.
Tier 3.
Yeah.
We were all not in tiers, basically, or tier 2, whatever it was, and we could actually get together under certain conditions to record in the studio. And we record in Manchester, and literally as we were finishing the recording, they were like, "Oh, it's tier 3 now."
Oh wow, that was lucky.
At the time, it was like, "Oh, we're not sure if we can still be if we need to be, you know." But luckily, we got it all done. So.
That was lucky then.
In October, beginning of October. So.
Yeah, October, November time, something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah, so that was fortunate.
Yeah, early November, I think, because it was literally the last day, I think, as we'd done. We'd been put into you can't mix with anybody, but I think at the time it was up to, even socially, I think it was up to 6 people at the time, and with that it worked out for us in the band and stuff. But we didn't have a chance to go anywhere and do anything, unfortunately. But obviously because of all the restrictions, but I think it just allowed us to focus on what we were doing. So
we're a little bit concerned about Dan, for example. Obviously, he was cancer fight last year. He has had the all clear for a year, but you know, we don't want like him getting COVID. You know,
no, of course not.
It's really a bit dodgy, so to speak. You know, it might be a chance. One of us might be able to catch it. So what we did is we actually we rented a flat and just stayed literally in this apartment building for the whole 2 weeks we were there.
All right.
I mean, like the delivery driver knew us by name by the end of the 2 weeks. Unfortunately, this apartment is literally the same building as the studio. I mean, literally right there. So it worked out perfectly. It was almost like it was meant to be. So we're quite grateful for that, really. Obviously, we would have been waiting quite a long time for any new music from that, that's for sure.
Oh, that's cool. That's good. You guys managed to do it that way, rather than having to, like you say, putting up a stumbling block in the road.
We do get a lot done. We do get a lot done before we go in the studio, and also as well when we finish from the studio. We take the tracks home and we add anything extra we need to add, and it goes back to the producer to mix. And so there's a lot that can be done at home, and that's one thing John gets on with when he gets back, and spends a lot of time in front of his Mac in his little studio set up at home, adding little bits and that to the song. So some of it is done at home. So we've adapted quite a lot, and not having to completely rely on being in the same room together all the time.
All right, yeah.
But and that's why we're able to have a singer who lives 4 hours away, 4.5 hours away. So.
Or 9 hours of his tire blows.
Oh no, yeah, most of the time, yeah.
Just drives really slowly. He's lying.
We all underestimate travel, mate. I do it all the time. Don't worry about it. I had people come down for when because I also host the Just Push Play Festival, and when we had Fallen Mafia come down from Durham and the North East down to Bury St Edmunds for it, I was chatting to Chris, and he's going, yeah, we'll set off about 9, and I'm going, Chris, it's a good 4 or 5 hour drive, mate, and you've got to get in, set up. You'll get there about 1. You're on at 2. You don't want to push that.
Yeah.
Going, no, I've had a look. It's about 4 hours, and I'm going, Chris, set off early, mate. Trust me, because all my family are in Durham. That's where my parents came from. We came down here because my dad was in the RAF. But all my family in Durham, so I know how long it takes.
Yeah.
And I'm going, Chris, seriously, mate, set off a bit earlier than 9. But I think they were 2nd or 3rd on the bill for the Mafia. Opening band Broken Soul were playing. Then it was Fallen Mafia, and so I'm waiting, going, where are they? And I'm ringing them, and it was literally like halfway through Broken Soul set. They turned up, and I'm like, I can't give you a sound check. You're just gonna have to do a quick level check and go for it. But professionals that they are, they extremely pulled it off. It was a great set from those guys. So
we had one last 2 years ago, 2019, when we were with Pop Evil. And they were really kind enough to lend us their tour bus to give us some beds on their tour bus. And so
that's cool.
We travelled Europe with them. They were really cool to us, brilliant. And then on the last day, they were in Amsterdam and they were flying home. So we were like, okay, cool. And what happened is we met them in Frankfurt with our van with all our gear, left the van at Frankfurt Airport. So so they flew back from Amsterdam, and then the bus had to take us to Frankfurt, and then we get on our van and then drive all the way home up to Calais, and then all the way across from Dover to I think we were traveling for like 28 hours. It was absolutely ridiculous. We missed the Calais ferry by about 10 minutes. We were just steaming out there in this van, like 100 miles an hour on the autobahn, like, come on! And we literally could just see the ferry going, and we were like, all right, so that's another 2 hours to our journey, wait for the next ferry to come. But that was 28 hours, like literally we thought it was going to be about, we didn't really think it through, really. All the extra stuff we had to do to get back, we thought it might be like 10 hours, maybe 11 hours. That's what it said on the sat nav, but no, 20 hours. And yeah, one of the scariest things we've done as well. Driving non-stop tired. But
it is always that thing, though, isn't it? When you get offered like another gig, or you get offered this, and you just go, yeah, we can make that work. And then you look at the logistics, and you think,
It's the thing. People don't realise like what bands do for these gigs. I mean, I've known bands get an opportunity to support maybe like a big major signed band in like Ukraine or Russia, in private, and not sleep in the van and be in the middle of the cold. I mean, I just couldn't do that. It's just absolutely crazy. But that's what people do just to get that buzz of playing these big shows and stuff. And I've got massive respect for it, but I don't know if I could do it myself. That's for sure.
We got offered a couple of those in my old band, The Lost Days. It was, I think it was Steel Panther, and who else was it? Might have been Stone Sour. We got a couple of those shows offered to us, and it was out in far-flung places, and we was like, well, we've got to do it because it'd just be amazing. And obviously, it never happened because the member was like, we ain't driving that way. Sort of thing. I was like mad enough to say, come on, let's load the car up and let's go now, sort of thing. But it was like, I think that was like Ukraine and St. Petersburg and all that kind of thing. But it would have been fun, but it was unrealistic, really. But it's pretty fun.
Yeah, like you say, it's when you get that opportunity, you think, I'm going to grab this, and then you look at it and you think,
yeah, worry about the details later. Yeah,
exactly. I always remember when I was playing in a band when I was at uni, and band had actually broken up, but we got an opportunity to support, kind of long story short, got an opportunity to support the Wild Hearts in Norwich, where I was studying for their like, the opening night. And I kind of long story short, we were supposed to be supporting Scott Sorry and the Sinatras, which is Scott Sorry from the Wild Hearts side project, and then that tour got cancelled for like visa reasons and that kind of thing. So when the Wild Hearts came around, he emailed me and said, "Oh, do you guys want to open for us in Norwich? As you can?" And I was like, and although we'd sort of technically gone, "Yeah, this isn't going anywhere. We'll call it a day," I just went yes because it's supporting the Wild Hearts, and I'm a huge Wild Hearts fan. So I just went, yeah, we'll do it. And then call the guy, because it was literally like the night before we had said, "Yeah, let's call it a day." I thought, nah, they'll be up for it. So I then called everyone round, like called all the guys round. I was like, "Dude, we've just been offered to open up for the Wild Hearts. Are you up for it?" And like our drummer was up for it, our singer was up for it. I was like, "Oh, brilliant! This is going to be amazing." And then our two guitarists were just like, "No." We formed this other project. We don't want to do this anymore. And I'm like, "But it's opening for the Wild Hearts." And they're like, "I don't care. We're not doing it." I'm like, "Ah." So then I had to go back to Scott Sorry and go, "Yeah, we can't do that."
Yeah.
You spoke to the guitarist.
Yeah. We try to find other guitarists, to be fair to Phil. But
Like, delete them off Facebook.
I have spoken to them since. It has been 10 years, so I think I can forgive them now. But
yeah. Oh well, you know, you never get that chance again. Well, you're not.
Speaking of Norwich Waterfront, now you guys are playing there with Stone Broken and Phil X, aren't you? On Park Tour in September. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, in April. Yeah, we will be there in April. Can't remember which day in April, but yeah, we can't wait for that tour. It's gonna be awesome. Stone Broken, obviously, great band. Phil X, obviously Bon Jovi's guitar player, but written a load of my favourite songs. He's actually, you know, he's a songwriter and plays on a lot of people's albums. One of them is Daughtry, which is the first album, was a massive influence from years ago.
Yeah, I didn't realise because I was watching. I don't know if you've seen it. There's a documentary called Hired Gun.
Yeah.
Like the sessions.
Yes, brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah, great watch. And obviously, I was watching a Phil X on that, and then he was talking about other projects he'd been involved in, and I started looking into more. And I love that first Daughtry album, and I had no idea that he was involved in it at all. To be honest with you, I knew he'd done session work for other people before, obviously, like you say, the Bon Jovi thing, and he'd done a lot of songwriting for other people, but I didn't know he was involved in that first Daughtry album.
Yeah, I remember seeing his name like in the credits. I was like, "Who's this guy, Phil X?" You know, there's quite a few like people who've got names like that, isn't there? Like and people like, you're like, "Who is this guy?" Yeah, it'd be cool to play with him as well, this band. But yeah, we're looking forward to playing with Stone Broken. We've never played together before, apart from festival slots. But yeah, I can't wait to see them live. And you know, it's definitely one of the bands has definitely got similar sort of influences to our own. So yeah, hopefully it'll be a really good show. And can't wait to get back to Norwich. Haven't been there for a while, but we played our first ever big show in this band in Norwich at the UEA.
Oh yeah.
With Hailstorm in 2015.
I forgot about that.
We've been back once since, on like a cold Tuesday night or something like that.
It's always a cold Tuesday night in Norwich. Even if it's Friday night, it's a cold Tuesday night in Norwich.
Yeah, and it wasn't the busiest of shows.
Yeah.
But we've always wanted to go back and you know, see if we can. Hopefully, all those people who saw us with Hailstorm all those years ago will remember us and want to come back, and you know, hopefully we can meet some new people. And then when we do a headline tour, which you know, hopefully that'll be beginning of next year, we can you know, go back to Norwich because it's a good place to play. We've always heard good things about Norwich.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I lived up there for 4 years. I was studying, and it's always been a good scene up there, and it's always been. Because there was a period of where, let's just say, the bookers within the UEA and the Waterfront changed, and there was a period where you had all these really cool, like the upcoming side of things were always playing the Waterfront, and it was great, and it was solid. And then there was a period of about a year where you'd have nothing, and they tried to go a bit too. I don't like to be disrespectful of other people's taste and what they like, but it went more theatricals and plays and that kind of thing, and then more classical based music rather than the rock stuff they were putting. And then they changed it back, and then last couple of years it definitely seems to be going to how it was when I was at uni there. So it's good. It's nice to see getting people like Phil Campbell and the Bastard Sons and Wayward Sons up there playing there now. So it's always good.
Great band. Yeah, somewhere I've not actually ventured on so far to Norwich. So yeah, look forward to that. Just looking forward to getting on the road in general. I think everyone is, but
yeah,
you know, with the new band, it's like now it's just like, right, songs out, news is out, let's go on the road, and it's just like waiting for everything to be able to happen. But yeah, I'm really really buzzing to play live again. It's going to be really cool. I think people are just going to go mad for it when it goes back. Not just for us, just music in general. It's just, I think fans are just going to be so like hungry for going to gigs and meeting up and having beers and that sort of thing. Like, I know I am, ready to go to a gig, and but yeah, I think it's going to go crazy when it goes off again.
Oh yeah, definitely, mate. When you, like you say, when live music's allowed to happen, it's going to. I mean, I've not been. The last gig I went to was Planet Rock Winter's End in February last year, and to go near enough a year without a live gig doesn't happen in my book. It's, I think the longest I went before then was like, up until my first gig I ever went to, sort of thing, was the longest period other than that. So to go over a year, it's just insane. And like I say, I was chatting to Cormac Neeson a few months ago of The Answer about his solo album stuff. And we were talking, we were saying, we reckon it's going to be a bit like the sort of roaring 20s after the old Spanish flu, when they were deprived for a couple of years, and then everyone went mental throughout the decade because they were just deprived of their entertainment and what they'd been used to. So I don't think you're going to get any more gigs on a Tuesday night, like you're saying, the cold Tuesday night thing, when people are going, oh well, I got work in the morning and I can't be bothered or whatever. I think everybody's just going to grab every opportunity that they can, because they know what now. Sadly, it's made us realise what we all missed.
If every show isn't a sellout, then we don't really deserve music anymore, do we?
No.
No. That's the thing. What would life be without it? And it's been struggling for a while anyway, and that's just general, because there's venues are closing, and it's expense, and bands are finding it harder and harder to get themselves out there anyway. But it just goes to show what it would be like if it just did completely go. I mean, what are people going to do? We can't, you don't get the same thing from watching YouTube or listening to Spotify, no matter how great they are, or you just can't have that energy and that atmosphere. Meeting people, I've met so many amazing people through not just playing in a band, meeting people who come see my band, but just from being a fan,
Definitely, that's where I met. Most of my friends, that's where I've met them. Has been at gigs or at rock nights or at festivals or whatever, and that side of things. And like I was saying, obviously we've just pushed play out to push that back. That didn't happen last year because of COVID, and it's just, it made me realise how much of a focal point that is in my life to do it. When I had to move it away and I didn't have it, and this was just me, one show, and then you got bands like yourselves and every other band I get to talk to who obviously have played dozens and dozens and hundreds of shows a year, sort of thing, but and suddenly they have that all taken away. It's bad enough as a fan, let alone you guys who are trying to make your career out of it, as it were, and get your name out there. And some people have managed to utilize the sort of online system a bit, but it's difficult for everyone when you've got everybody trying to do the same sort of thing. And some of the online gigs I've seen have been great, but it doesn't beat being in a sweaty venue and beer in hand and watching.
That's the thing. I think it's it's just the human element of it and the whole experience of it. I mean, I think me and Greg were talking about football the other day, and we were just saying like why we love it, sort of thing. And it's like, I think it's just like connection that you get with people, and like going to an actual match is better than watching it on TV. And it's the same with gigs. Some great production. They look absolutely amazing, some of these gigs I've seen. Look, but it's not the same as like being there with your mates on the front row getting covered in sweat and booze, sort of thing. It's not the same, is it? So
yeah,
I've met most of my best friends from being front row or in the pit at a gig, and the people you meet, festivals, and queuing up all day, wanting to meet you. When I was 16, 17 years old, standing, queuing up from 8 o'clock in the morning to be front row at the Astoria in London.
We've all done that.
Yeah. I mean, like, I'm 4 hours away from London, so me and my buddy would drive up and queue all day, and from 8 o'clock in the morning, be front row and wait to meet the band afterwards. I mean, if you're lucky enough to get backstage, even better, and then drive home and go to work. I mean, just and that's the thing. Like, without those experiences, I don't think I would have been. I definitely wouldn't be doing this. Definitely be playing in bands. So, it'd just be an awful shame if it doesn't go back. Well, not go back. If it doesn't come back bigger and better than ever. And regardless of what any government or any Brexit deal can ruin, rock fans, and that's the bands, the fans, everyone involved in it, the whole industry needs to work together. We need to push smaller bands help the bigger bands, everything to get it back on the road again, because it will be amazing, and there'll be so much stuff coming out there, and and hopefully it will sort of end this kind of negativity around the whole thing of, oh, it all sounds the same, or it's not really, literally everyone just needs to support each other, and just get out and go and see bands, because you never know who you're going to meet, what you're going to see, and what's going to come of it. And I don't think we'd be moaning about Spotify not paying or bands not getting opportunities if everyone just works together, and hopefully that can happen. But it has to start from people going to shows, because that's what's going to keep the venues open. That's what's going to keep the bands going.
Definitely, man. Like you say, you got to go. We all want the same thing. Bands want to play. Punters want to see the show. So, like you say, it's got to be from the ground up, and it's got to be supporting from, like I say, ground up all the way through. Everyone's got to go to the gigs. There was a venue in town where I live in now, Bury St Edmunds, and it went okay for a while, and then people stopped going. It was just like a club night, to be fair, but they started having like local bands play and that kind of thing, and it went because no one went, and then everybody moaned because there was no rock venue in the town anymore. And I'm like, well, you didn't go to it. It's not gonna stay.
It's too easy to go to Wetherspoons for a cheap pint, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just plug Wetherspoons.
Yeah, especially what they did during lockdown. So yeah, screw them and go support a proper venue.
That's the thing, isn't it? I mean, we've got some fantastic venues in here.
Yeah.
The place we played our first ever gig at, the Palladium in Bideford. It's only small, it's 150 people, but without that place, we wouldn't be the band. There wouldn't be, so many bands wouldn't have had opportunities. There wouldn't be any that kind of entertainment in Bideford.
No.
It's just a tiny town that we live in, and they've not been able to do anything since the whole lockdown started. So hopefully a place like that we'll just see a boom and be able to be busy every night, not just on Friday or Saturday. And they can, and hopefully more acts will start coming, because if they hear it's a good place to play, then they'll come, and it is a good place to play. So
yeah, like you say, those grassroots venues, those are the ones that need the support the most. Because like you say, without that level, then bands don't get to come up the ranks, and you don't get to just to jump in somewhere. People would say something like the Waterfront or Cambridge Corn Exchange or something like that was a smaller venue, and I guess in the grand scheme of like Wembley Stadium or something, it is. But you don't get to just come out and you guys know this. I don't need to tell you it, that you don't get to come out and just go immediately to the Waterfront. You've got to go play the back room of the pub and 3 Men and a Dog, and we've all done those gigs. But like you say, those are the venues that are most important, because that's where bands hone their craft and learn their stage presence and get just to enjoy going out and playing. And I've not played in a band for a little while, but I miss that. I miss just going out and playing. And even if it was 3 Men and a Dog, and the dog was taking a shit, you didn't care, because you were on stage with your mates and you were
all done it. All done the toilet tour of the UK.
Oh yeah,
oh, absolutely.
You drive the whole country and play to like 3 people.
Yeah.
All the other bands, and then you don't get paid. But the thing is, the bigger bands, the large bands, regardless of the impact they've had on the history of music, they're not going to last forever. They can't, because they just won't be able to. I mean, you've got to bring 3 new bands, and they have to start at the beginning. I mean, yeah, there's a quick way by millions of Spotify streams straight off the bat and huge promo campaigns, but I think bands, especially rock bands, metal bands, they need to play. They need to own that craft, to go out and be a good live band. Obviously, not, it's just going to be these festivals and stuff like that aren't going to be what they were. You're not going to see the next Iron Maiden coming out and playing huge shows, because they won't know how to.
No, this is it.
And yeah. I mean, trust me, there was plenty of bands in the world, in the UK, in tiny towns in the UK, that can be the next Iron Maiden. And the next Metallica, and that they can be, with the right support and the right people.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I think and I've been, going to gigs and stuff since age 11 years old, and Dad took me to see Aerosmith for the first time and stuff like that. But the last 5 years, I feel like there's a proper scene again. There's a proper scene of really good upcoming bands rising through the ranks who are just as good, if not better, because they're more hungry than any band you'll see anywhere else. And it got to the point when I was going to gigs with my wife or friends or whoever, where we didn't even necessarily tell people that we were going to a certain gig, because you went and you knew those guys are going to be there, or they'll definitely be at this. Like Winter's End was fantastic. There was a set of real close mates that I was going and who knew, and then all weekend I spent just bumping into friends who I'd met at other gigs, seeing the bands throughout the weekend. It was fantastic, and there's that scene again where it is supported by people and it is supported by rock fans, and everybody wants this rise from this massive wave of fantastic new bands that are coming up through the scene. It's the first time I've seen it in a long time. So, like you say, when we're allowed to go to the live scene again, let's hope it gets the support it really, really should. But I think it will.
Yeah, definitely. Well,
yeah, I think it will.
Fingers crossed.
No, I think it will. I think we'll get that support. So, speaking of all that, what are you guys planned for the remainder of 2021 then, all being well?
Well, we are supposed to be on tour in April with Stone Broken, obviously. Back in the studio in May, and then hopefully we'll have an album out by the end of September, October. We've got a few shows with an American band called Red scheduled for September.
I think I saw them supporting Saxon once.
Possible, I don't know. I just know of them from just being one of the bands that always used to come up years ago. In bands similar to the bands I like, the American bands I liked, I always see this name Red, and then didn't hear a lot from for a while, and then all of a sudden we were offered a couple of shows with them, so I was like,
Oh, that's cool.
But hopefully, if all that goes well and we get the album out, we'll be able to do a headline tour. And I mean, the festival, it's not looking good for the festivals this year so far. So that's probably going to, and most of them last year's lineups.
Yeah.
But if they get pushed over to next year, then you might find that lineup gets pushed over again. So it might be hard to appear at any festivals. But we just have to just take it as it comes and just keep putting music out and play whatever, as soon as we can, we'll be playing,
Yeah, of course.
Can't wait. But yeah, other than that, it's just writing music and planning for when we can get back out on the road and can do stuff. So yeah.
But we'll be playing Knives at the beginning of the show. But what song do you guys want us to play at the end of the interview?
Maybe play Nova, because everyone knows that one.
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for your time, Steve. It's been a pleasure.
Oh no, thank you very much, Leo. I appreciate it, mate. Thank you.
No, anytime.
Yeah, thanks for having us on.